I hope those vacation tickets are refundable because a massive blob of seaweed is heading for beaches in Florida, Mexico, and the Caribbean. Hi everyone, I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English, where JR and I help you upgrade your English with current events and trending topics. By listening here, you'll get exposure to new words, new ideas, and we'll also show you how to express yourself in English. Today's topic is the giant bloom of seaweed floating in the Atlantic. It'll wash up on the beaches of Florida and the Caribbean soon, threatening tourism. In the second half of the lesson, I'll show you how to use the phrasal verb wash up. The full lesson transcripts are available at plainenglish.com/563. Now, I mentioned on Monday that we've refreshed our Instagram page, and I really would like to ask you all to give Plain English some love on Instagram. Find us at Plain English Pod. Find the content you like, leave a comment, leave a like, and that's how we'll know what to continue posting. I also check messages and comments every day, so let me know what you like the best about Plain English and our Instagram account. Find us again at Plain English Pod. Sargassum is a type of brown seaweed common in the Atlantic Ocean. It floats on the surface in clumps and patches. It looks like a collection of brown leaves and branches. Unlike other types of seaweed, this plant never attaches to the ocean floor. It reproduces as it floats on the surface. The plant also includes small bubbles of oxygen, which helps it stay afloat. Fish, sea turtles, crabs, shrimp, and more use sargassum for protection, food, and shade. Most of the time, sargassum stays out in the ocean, and when it dies, it falls to the ocean floor and provides nutrients to the creatures down there. The problem comes when there is too much sargassum. When that happens, ocean currents bring it on shore. And when it washes up on beaches, it disrupts tourism. We're not talking about a little bit of seaweed. Some places can get deposits of seaweed a meter deep. On a beach with sargassum, the dead seaweed accumulates right on the shoreline. If you walk through that, you'll find that the shallow water is brown with leaves floating in it. Even relatively small amounts make a walk on the beach really unpleasant. Beach towns and hotels have to clear the beach of sargassum every day, but it's still floating in the shallow water and accumulating throughout the day. So a hotel's efforts start early in the morning, but also continue during daytime hours. And get this, it smells. When it decomposes on the beach, it emits hydrogen sulfide, so it smells like rotting eggs. It can also negatively affect people with respiratory conditions. Not every year is the same, and for many years this wasn't a problem, but it became more and more common, so much so that in 2011, scientists started to track the development of sargassum every year. Since then, some years have been worse than others. This year is shaping up to be one of the worst. Satellite imagery shows that this year's bloom is 8,000 kilometers wide, stretching from Western Africa almost to the Caribbean. That's not to say the whole ocean is covered in the stuff. It's not. But these 10 million tons of seaweed are going to be a consistent problem all year. The other thing is that this year's bloom started early. Sargassum typically develops in the spring and summer, but it started in winter this year, and some areas are already seeing some sargassum show up on the beach. There isn't much tourist areas can do about sargassum. Many hotels and resort areas dedicate a lot of manpower to collecting the seaweed, packing it into crates, transporting it to trucks, and then turning it into compost. Some entrepreneurs are studying how to make alternative use of collected sargassum. It can be used for fertilizer and a few other things, but since it's full of salt water, it's not easy to reuse. Oh, and it also includes arsenic and heavy metals. Clearing and cleaning the beach is the primary way to fight sargassum, but another option is to install a large boom off the coast that would block the sargassum from coming into the swimming areas and onto the beaches in the first place. Here's another idea. The Mexican Navy sends collection boats out to sea to intercept the sargassum. There's not much travelers can do to avoid the smelly seaweed. It's most likely to collect on the beach between April and August. However, that's not to say that every beach will be covered in it every day. Some beaches will be more affected than others. Some days will have no sargassum at all. Now that's prime time for summer travel, but it's the low season for much of the Caribbean and Mexico. Some official and unofficial organizations publish sargassum maps. One from Mexico shows color-coded dots all up and down the Riviera Maya, indicating where sargassum is present and how bad it is. The beaches most affected will be on Florida's Atlantic coast, the Florida Keys, Cancun, Tulum, and other beaches on Mexico's Riviera Maya, and the Dominican Republic, the Virgin Islands, Jamaica, and other islands in the Caribbean. I was in Florida once in May, and there was a lot of seaweed on the beach. It wasn't sargassum, I don't think, but for whatever reason, there was a lot of seaweed. I just didn't want to walk on the beach. It's not fun. It's not pretty. You can't lie down. You don't want to walk on it, and it's everywhere. And then you get in the water, and it's not blue, and it's not clear. The water is brown. It's just full of brown leaves and twigs, and you feel it on your feet and on your legs. It's just gross. So look at the pictures. Look at the ones on plainenglish.com/563 and others online. I can't imagine being a hotel owner and having to send crews of 10, 20 people out there at 6 a.m. to shovel this stuff so that the beaches are clear when people go out midday. Today's expression is wash up. There are a few different ways to use wash up, but we're going to talk about just one today. If something comes out of the ocean and onto the shore, it washes up. Don't ask me why. It has nothing to do with washing. Actually, most stuff that washes up on shore is not clean whatsoever. Did you see the Netflix documentary about the missing Malaysian Airlines plane MH370? The plane went missing one night between Malaysia and China, and it was never found. An international Boeing 777 full of passengers. It's an incredible story. The documentary was an imperfect telling of the story, but it does tell about how airplane parts washed up on the beaches of Africa. And investigators are not 100% certain, but they are nearly certain that the airplane parts that washed up on the beach were from the missing plane. The airplane parts came out of the ocean and landed on the beach. So we say they washed up on the beach. There are not many missing airplanes. Very, very few crash in the ocean. So if a part of a Boeing 777 washes up on the beach in Africa, there are only a handful of possibilities. And so investigators said with a high degree of confidence that those parts were from the missing plane, but they cannot say for certain. Do you have anything by Yeti? They make coolers, insulated mugs, things like that. I've had a few mugs. They're great. A Yeti cooler can retail for several $100s, but some lucky residents of Alaska got theirs for free. That's because a large container ship carrying Yeti coolers spilled 109 shipping containers into the ocean in October 2021. 10 months later, coolers began washing up onto the beaches in Alaska. The coolers were spilled into the ocean. They spent the better part of a year floating around in the sea until finally landing on the beach in Alaska. One guy flew a seaplane over remote areas of the beach and collected 23 coolers. Others went for walks in their favorite areas and got free bike helmets and coolers, all of it washed up on the beach. Thousands of miles away from Alaska, hotels and beach towns in Florida, Mexico, and the Caribbean are preparing for a wave of Sargassum seaweed to wash up on the shore between April and August this year. The seaweed lives in the ocean. It's alive, it reproduces, but eventually it lands on the beach where it accumulates and dies and begins to rot, producing a foul smell. I'd rather find a Yeti cooler. Joking aside, this threatens tourism because few beachgoers want to walk through seaweed that smells like rotten eggs. So, as you learned, tourist areas are dedicating a lot of time and money toward preventing the sargassum from reaching the beach, but also cleaning it up after it washes up on shore. Other things that can wash up on shore: seashells, rocks, pollution, dead animals, fishing nets, trash, driftwood, stuff like that. Now it's time for JR's Song of the Week. Today it's by Goldford and it's called Walk With Me. This is another recent song that sounds like an older genre. Play this song, this sounds like soul music or gospel music. Walk With Me came out during the pandemic. It was recorded in the early stages of the lockdowns in Los Angeles. They even recorded it while social distancing, if you believe that. Here are some of the lyrics. I know the rain of today will bring tomorrow's bloom. When we can't see where we're going, what the world is coming to, you walk with me, I'll walk with you. Great song this week, JR. Thank you for that. Walk With Me by Goldford. And that's all for Plain English today, Thursday, April 13th, 2023. Remember, I need your help on Instagram. We just refreshed the page, posted a lot of new content, and I'd love to see what you think of it. So connect with us on there at Plain English Pod. Save content, like it, leave comments, send me messages. I check it every day right on my phone, so you know I'll see your comments. This will be just another place to complement the learning you're already doing by listening to the audios. Instagram at Plain English Pod. Leave us some love on there. That's all for today. We'll be back on Monday with more. See you then.